rural America, sweeping horizons, hardworking people, traditional values, and a cooperative spirit that shapes communities and helps define a way of life. In the 21st century, most Americans live near urban centers. For them, food comes from a grocery store, power and water come from a utility, and phone service comes from an investor-owned corporation like Verizon or AT&T. But for many people in rural areas, it's local cooperatives that provide these essential services.
The cooperative business model is unique and different than other business models because it is patron-oriented rather than investor-oriented. So the people that get the benefits of the business are the patrons or customers rather than those that are the owners of the company.
Cooperatives began in Europe and took root in the United States in the 1800s. None other than Benjamin Franklin is credited with starting the first American cooperative, a mutual insurance company that is still in operation today. Cooperatives multiplied when farmers started banding together to give themselves leverage and market power to buy inputs more cheaply and command higher prices for the commodities they produced. Today, farmer-owned co-ops continue to thrive in a wide variety of agricultural sectors, from grain storage and dairy to cotton, sugar beets, citrus, and farm supply. Many of the best-known brands in the food industry are owned by farmer-owned cooperatives, organizations that compete effectively in an increasingly global marketplace, while still providing farmer members with value and dependable service.
We have about 2,500 farmer-owned co-ops in this country. They range everything from supply co-ops to processing co-ops to marketing co-ops, handling virtually every commodity produced in this country today in some fashion or another. Total sales from farmer-owned co-ops in excess of $170 billion a year. An $8 billion payroll is what we estimate for farmer-owned cooperatives. So this is, this is really kind of the heart of our agricultural economy.
One such operation is Sunrise Cooperative in north central Ohio. Sunrise is a grain marketing and supply cooperative with total annual sales of over $500 million. They are a full-service cooperative and are 100% owned by their 2,800 farmer members.
We've now got the company up to about 25 million bushel of grain storage. On the people side of the business is where we've spent an enormous amount of money also, and that's really on bringing more grain marketing alternatives to our customers. We try to work with them to match their grain marketing with when they're purchasing their fertilizer, so we can capture and lock in a profit. And I would say the majority of our business does that today.
Cooperatives support the rural economy in other ways as well. Many rural communities depend on co-ops to deliver their voice, video, and data services, as well as the water and wastewater services they rely on every day. In addition, millions of homes and businesses in rural communities receive their power from member-owned electric cooperatives. As late as the 1930s, many rural communities had no access to electrical power. The U.S. federal government launched a nationwide rural electrification initiative to bring electricity to areas where investor-owned utilities would not go. Hundreds of member-owned electric cooperatives were founded to fill that need.
If you look at the difference in life in rural America of the time before electricity was available as opposed to afterwards, it was a huge game changer. Washing your clothes, you're out over a boiling pot of water in a very hot summertime or in the cold of the winter and trying to perform that duty. It's a huge difference between that and a washer inside. In the barn, with regard to a dairy farm, electric power made a huge difference in the reduction of labor.
Today, there are more than 900 electric cooperatives that generate, transmit, and distribute electricity in 47 states.
It might be surprising to think about this, but it is still a major chore to keep the lights on in rural America. The job is never done. You have ice storms, you have hurricanes, you have tornadoes, flooding. All of those things clearly affect the ability to keep that electric service moving. And so fundamentally, the electric cooperative is still there to ensure that the electricity flows in the rural community, and as a result of that, that the benefits of economic growth can occur and the comforts that people need in their lives today can occur as well.
One of the nation's largest cooperatives is the Farm Credit System, a nationwide network of banks and associations that provide credit to the rural economy. With over $200 billion in assets, the Farm Credit System is owned and governed by the farmers, ranchers, cooperatives, and other rural borrowers it serves.
I think the cooperative ownership part of Farm Credit is one of the main drivers of its success. Because it's being used by its owners, it's going to offer the kinds of products and services that the owners need. How better to know what a farmer needs than to have a farmer at the table when the decisions are made as to what products to offer, what strategic direction to go, how to plan for the future.
To some, the idea of a cooperative may seem like a throwback, a relic of a bygone era. But in rural America, cooperatives continue to fill an essential need and play a vital role. In fact, the United Nations has proclaimed 2012 as the International Year of the Cooperative, signifying cooperatives' importance not only in the U.S., but around the world.
2012 is the International Year of the Cooperative, and I think it's an appropriate recognition of the importance of cooperatives, not just in this country, but around the world.
We are so fortunate that the International Year of the Cooperative is occurring right in the middle of one of the largest economic downturns since the Great Depression, because what an opportunity it gives us to showcase everything that we have to offer. People may have heard of a credit union, but they don't really understand that that's a co-op. They may have heard of Nationwide Insurance. They may not understand that it's a mutual insurance company. So I think that the work of the International Year of the Cooperative is spreading the message about how many different forms there are of cooperatives and how infinitely flexible and fungible the form of a cooperative is, but also to mainstream the cooperative model into everyday life.
I think it comes at a critical time when many people are reflecting upon the future food needs of this planet and wondering, how is all this going to come about? We've got some shortages already today. And if our population continues to explode, as all we're predicting, how's that all going to come about that we're going to be able to feed these people?
Well, the cooperative model, I think, has been part of rural America for decades. I think it always will be a part of the American rural economy, simply because cooperative ownership just about dictates that the business will reflect the needs of the customer owners. And you don't have to try to manage your business for the daily stock price or the quarterly report that might be coming due. You can manage for the long term. It's that long term that will make us, I think, viable in the future. But the need for cooperatives will never go away. We're going to need them in the future just as much as we needed them in the past.
Cooperatives, filling a vital role in rural America, home of the cooperative spirit.